at the conference centre to keep me entertained for days, but this year's Brighton conference is in a very, very special location. And you have to admit, with this weather, the beaches, good life.
One of the greatest things this year in IATEFL is the location. So we are here with Anka on the beach, enjoying a little bit of sunshine, enjoying the sound of the waves. And just across the street, we have got the IATEFL Conference Center. And this is brilliant because it is very important for you to take the time to absorb everything else, especially after 500 sessions and more, with social program events, with a lot of things happening, socializing, networking. So it's very important for you to just take the time to just sit down by the beach, enjoy yourself. Oh, Anka, look at that gorgeous weather. Look at that sunshine. It's beautiful, isn't it?
I think I could stay here forever.
I wish we could stay here forever. Anka?
Yeah?
What time is it?
Shoot! We have to go back to the studio!
I have to run!
What do you mean we're live on air? The girls went out and I haven't seen them since. Hang on, wait, what?
We're here. Yes. We were interviewing
business
people,
meeting.
Very
business meeting.
Important business meetings. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Everybody.
Hi, good to see you.
Welcome to IATEFL Live. How are you, Nikki?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Georgia?
I am very good. Yes, thank you.
Had a busy afternoon, have we?
Yeah, very serious meetings, very important meetings. Yes, you know, there's always something going on in IATEFL Live. So, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and Anka was there to witness those meetings as well. Yes,
I'm sure. How are you?
Good. Yeah, definitely. I think mindfulness is definitely also one of the themes this year. And it's not just AI, but we also talk more and more about happiness and equality and mindfulness.
Which is
And it
very
was really
important.
interesting talking about that just now.
Absolutely. And just to confirm that we were actually in a meeting, I have got someone from IATEFL head office who can testify that we had a very, very serious meeting and we were definitely not by the beach. So we have got from IATEFL head office,
The
Laura,
the one, the only.
The one and only Laura, please.
Hello.
Join us. Don't worry about the code.
Hello, Laura. How are you?
Laura.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Were they really in a meeting?
Definitely.
Thank you. Laura, how has the conference been for you so far?
Really good, really busy. Yeah, sort of okay this afternoon. Everyone knows what they're doing, where they're going. Found a way around the venue a bit more. So yeah, good. Met all my scholarship winners from this year.
Yes.
That was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Had a gathering.
Excellent. You know, I'm actually interviewing most of the scholarship winners this afternoon, so I'm very excited.
Amazing.
Yes. What's going on with the scholarship, Laura? Can you give us just a sneak peek of what's happening?
Yes. So we are launching scholarships for Edinburgh next Friday. So we've got 24 for next year and loads of different ones depending on where you're from, if you've been a first-time delegate or first-time speaker. Yeah, there's lots to apply for.
Okay. And how can people apply? So if there are any people watching us from home, what is the process when it comes to scholarships?
So you need an IATEFL account, which you can create for free. And once you've added all of your details on, you can basically click the scholarship block, which is a nice pink square on your dashboard, and it will bring up a list of all the ones that you're eligible for. And then you can either make a speaker proposal if you need to, or just go straight through to the scholarship application.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. And what kind of applications do we usually receive? Why do people want to apply?
Because IATEFL is amazing,
Yes.
and it's great to come here. Part of the prize is a free conference place. Different range of scholarships. Some offer prize money. Some you get your flights or your hotel paid for example. Some you get to be a speaker. Some you get to be part of a PCE. There's loads of different reasons.
Brilliant. Yes, that sounds exciting.
It does, doesn't it? And so, hang on, when's the deadline, Laura?
Oh, June the 21st, I think.
So there's a little bit of time.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. So it opens next week, and then there's about 6 weeks to get everything in.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
In the 20s of June. I didn't rehearse before I came on.
That's brilliant. And have you had the chance to walk around Brighton, or have you just been here locked in the conference?
No, I had an afternoon off yesterday, so I went to the pier. I went on the 2p machines. Didn't win anything, sadly. No cuddly toys, but I've got my little IATEFL teddy, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely. Thank you very much, Laura.
You're welcome.
Super interesting information.
Thank
Do
you.
it.
I'll go back to my very important meetings now.
Oh, excellent. Yes, we will join you again tomorrow.
Same time.
Yep,
Same
same
place?
time, yep.
We will not forget the teddy.
No. All right,
Thank
then.
you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Lovely. Thank you. Right. So day 2, girls. What happened yesterday? Let's inform the people. What happened yesterday on day 2?
So much. It felt like a haze. Like, I don't know. End of the day, I just figured, where did the day go? But I really, really loved our interviews yesterday. I think we spoke to some really, at least for me, I found really like inspiring people to talk to. And another good plenary.
Yeah, I heard loads of good stuff about the plenary with Zarina, and that's online on the IATEFL live page, which you can watch back if you haven't seen it already.
Absolutely. And can I just say that they're so relaxing to watch as well, because I was getting ready this morning and I was watching the plenary, and they are just brilliant. I just love them. Absolutely. Excellent. And you've been walking around as well. Well, we have been walking around. And what is the vibe in general in the conference this year?
It's very positive. It's a very positive vibe. I think the sunshine definitely helps, and being by the sea.
Yes.
But it feels like there are more people than last year, if I'm honest.
Yes.
So a very full conference, but a very lovely atmosphere.
Yes, we had the maintenance people here earlier today in the studio, and they actually told us that it is a very busy conference because they know about conferences. They do those all the time, and they were talking about how busy it is. So it's brilliant.
But also how much fun it is.
Yes.
And what a good group of people we are.
Yes,
So-
absolutely. Brilliant. So we have got a show packed with a lot of interviews again.
We do.
Yes. What is a sneak peek? Let's give a sneak peek to the people who are watching us from home. What kind of interviews we will be doing today?
I will be talking to Language Cert and ITN, and to a lady who is going to be telling us about CPD.
Oh, very good. Anka?
And I look forward to talking about equality and peace, which I think make a nice combination.
Fantastic. And I will be talking to our scholarship winners, who I absolutely love talking to because they always tell me why they apply, what they think about the conference, and all of their fresh ideas. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Should we do it?
Good. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Hi, I'm Yasmin, and I'm from Birmingham. And now I work as steward in the IATEFL. I really enjoyed the talk and lecture every day. And yesterday, I also met my favorite teachers in our university, and also met many other outstanding teachers from all over the world. So in the future, I might go to the next IATEFL conference in Edinburgh. Yes, see you.
Hi, this is Adan. I'm here from Brighton, and what I loved from about yesterday was the exhibition itself on the ground floor and the evening events. The first evening event was great.
Good morning. My name is Amira Makhlouf. I come from Cairo. I'm a curriculum designer, and I'm presenting today English for Interfaith Dialogue, and I'm looking forward to interacting with lots of great people.
Hi, my name is Annette Eagle. I am from Hamburg, Germany. And my takeaway from day 2 is actually a very great plenary. And I did go to David Heathfield's storytelling, which I absolutely enjoyed. And it was a lot of networking and meeting people and having a great time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gerald Smith, and I'm with Sensations English. Day 2 at IATEFL, fantastic. It was an amazing blast. I shook a lot of hands. I met a lot of people I really liked. I gave a wonderful talk. Perfect. Yeah, leaves me very happy.
And speaking of equality and inspiration, I'm here with Julie and Heather. Can I ask the two of you to introduce yourselves? Say something about who you are and what your fields of interest are.
Yep. My name's Heather Buchanan. I work at the University of York, and I'm a senior lecturer there, working in the area of English language teaching. I work on the MA TESOL, and I'm the postgraduate programs director there. But I've also been a teacher trainer and a classroom teacher and done a bit of all sorts of things.
What a very
well.
impressive list.
Well, not sure about that, but there you go.
Hello, my name's Julie Norton, and I'm based at the University of Leicester, and I work on the Applied Linguistics and TESOL MA programs there. I also supervise doctoral students, and I have a couple of other roles. I'm a Director of Postgraduate Research and Research Impact and Knowledge Exchange Lead. Yeah, so that's it.
Sounds very impressive also.
Thank you.
Now, sometimes when we go over the brochure, you might recognize that feeling that you see sessions and you think, oh, this will be fun. Everything's fun, of course. But there's one or two that you go like, I want to attend this one. And then I saw that you're speaking at the exact same time as me in an hour or two. So that's unfortunately for me not going to happen. But could you tell me and everybody else watching, what are we going to miss? What will your session be about?
Okay. Yep. So we're talking about women in ELT, and it's called Global Challenges and Future Aspirations. And basically, we have got a questionnaire which we've devised online, and we're trying to find out about women's experiences of being in English language teaching. So we have a questionnaire that we've designed. We've got 50 responses so far, and it's really interesting what we found out so far. We've got some Likert scales of asking people how much gender has affected their experiences. We've got 4 areas that we're asking about. One is professional development, one is leadership, one is workplace culture and politics, and the last one is career progression. So we ask people about that, and then we ask people just what we are experiencing. Would you like to comment on that? So we've asked them about challenges and opportunities and what the impact gender has had. So we've got a lot of really interesting data there. So we've unpicked it a little bit and are presenting some of our findings in the talk. Well, it's a workshop actually. So we wanted to make it a workshop so that people can come and reflect on the questions and think about those same questions themselves. So it's a kind of space to discuss and reflect as well.
Very good. Now, I hear you say that these are the preliminary findings that you present now, but it's still an ongoing survey.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So now, coincidentally, we happen to have the link. So if you identify as a woman, I'll just magically do this, and Tech will just magically shake his head, but put on a QR code on the screen in a moment. And if you identify as a woman, do fill it in and add to the study. But for now,
pass it on to other people as well, please.
Yeah.
Pass it on to other people as well that you know in ELT.
very good one. So yes, it's open for a month, I think, or so.
Another month, yeah. We're still collecting. Sorry, we're still collecting data.
Okay, so if you identify as a woman or you know a woman who works in ELT, do send it forth. But now those preliminary findings.
Okay, well, yes, we talked briefly about the different areas that we've asked people about, and I think probably the quantitative findings suggest that progress has been made over the last few decades, and we've got to acknowledge that progress. And so some people say that gender hasn't had a huge impact on the 4 areas that we mentioned. Promotion, perhaps, and career is the one that's seems to have been most affected in the findings so far. But then we've also got some qualitative findings, and that gives a richer, more nuanced understanding, I think, of what our respondents are telling us. And so we are looking through those issues, and we're going to talk about them in more depth in our workshop. But we also want to give opportunity to our the people who attend the workshop to think about these things themselves, you know, and raise awareness really, and think about what's the way forward to support women in the profession. So those are some of the things. But in terms of findings, what have we found out so far?
We've got 6 themes, haven't we?
Yeah. Okay, we've got 6 themes, and the themes, some of the, well, one of the themes is favoritism, and has that had an impact on workplace roles, politics, for example? We've got stereotypical gendered roles are sometimes talked about, what impact, you know, this sort of narrative about being a part-time worker, having childcare responsibilities, to what extent does that have an impact on women in the profession? So that's another of the themes. Gendered roles, like expectations of women from being at school, you know, so typical subjects that women might be encouraged to study, such as languages, perhaps, which kind of have an impact on the career path that they choose, and might influence them becoming a teacher and working in English language teaching. So those are some of the areas. Would you like to mention some others?
Just some of the kind of stereotypical roles that you can end up falling into, like doing administrative work when your male colleagues might be doing some of the work that might be more creative and more maybe research based and get more prestige, and ultimately that might possibly give them more opportunities for promotion and things like that. And so sometimes it can be expected that women pick up some of the kind of housekeeping type duties in their roles and things like that. And so we've been thinking and talking together about whether we should let that happen, and what happens if you make a stand and say no. And then sometimes we have this double bind situation where you might be damned if you do and damned if you don't do something, because if you might, you know, be seen as weak if you don't stand up to something, but then if you do stand up to it, well then sometimes you're perceived as being too pushy, and people might see you in a different way as a woman if you display certain behaviours in comparison with you're a man. And confidence is another of our themes as well, that it's quite typical to not feel as confident as a woman. And so why is that, and how can we overcome that to help to speak positively about ourselves, and to put ourselves forward positively? So there's all these, we haven't got a lot of answers, but we have thought about what we think, and what we asked other people as well about future aspirations. So how can we start to change these things and move forward to achieve a bit more equality in the workplace?
So you already got a few in. What
Yeah.
are some of the most striking stories or things that you might not have expected that you found in the surveys?
Do you want to go?
Gosh, we've got quite a mixed range of responses. As I said, some are quite positive, some are less so. There was one very nice narrative, which probably we won't have time to talk about in the workshop because obviously the workshop has to be interactive. But it was a woman who said she felt like she'd followed exactly the same pattern as her parents because her parents were engineers. But in the end, her mum had given up being an engineer to bring up a family. And this woman said she's done exactly the same thing because they're both academics, but it made sense for her husband to do the PhD, so she's still not done her PhD, and for her to take greater responsibility for childcare because he could earn more potentially, get his PhD, and she was saying she will do it one day. You know, there was a positive ending to the story, but she said that happens to quite a few women, you know, so that's just one example, you know, of one of the stories that we had. There are other people who say it's not had a huge impact as gender, that ELT has lots of women in the profession. They've had both good and bad managers of both genders, you know, so there's a real mixture, and we've got to spend a bit more time, I think, looking through and the findings. And it's quite difficult to say definitively what we've found out, but I think complexity is what we've found out. It's a very complex issue, and as Heather said, the topic of confidence, for example, and women's communication styles sometimes arises, and the issue of whether women should become more like men in a sense, or communicate more like men. That was one of the topics some of the women raised, to be perceived as a leader of you know, in the workplace, and or whether that, you know, shouldn't be an issue, and perhaps we do comment too much on how women communicate. And my own experience actually of going on leadership courses, sometimes women are encouraged to speak in a lower tone of voice to sound as if they, you know, make them sound like they have greater gravitas, for example. Is that something we should be doing, or should we not comment on how women communicate? Should we? Because in fact that draws attention to their communication style, and it might make them more self-conscious, and they may think too much about the style of their communication rather than the content if there's such a pressure on them in those areas. So those are some of the things that are coming up in our data.
But very complex and intriguing dilemmas, like what do we do? How do we change the situation? You mentioned the future. Where do we go from here? Because I think that's what the session's also about, like what is happening, what challenges do women face, but also like where do we go from there?
Well, it is a really complex question, and I think it's different for every woman as well, because as we found, different women are contending with different issues in their life, and we have some women who commented on the age as well. And so being a woman who is young or a bit older, that, you know, these, or you might be a non-native speaker, or there might be other things that are intersecting with your experience as well. But we think ultimately that we'd like to see, you know, a lot of equality for women at home, in relationships at home, and also in the workplace, so that women are kind of freed up to have the same kind of career opportunities. But we also want, ultimately, I think I'd like some of the systems to change a little bit, to be more inclusive of women. And sometimes it feels as if you have to play the game a little bit to succeed. And, you know, sometimes you think, well, who's set up that game, and what is that game all about? And sometimes I think we need to have a look at how all the systems are set up, so that different people with different styles still have the opportunity to do their best and reach their potential, rather than being held back by another system that somebody else has set up, that's kind of where everything's stacked against them.
Yeah, and I think diversity is ideal. Like you said, we should embrace the differences, and that would be a good future to look forward to if we could. embrace that, have the equality, but also the diversity.
Yeah.
It's an interesting topic. How do you feel the response has been?
Well, we've had a really good response to our questionnaires, actually, because we've only really just started to collect the data. So I think that we're hoping to collect a lot more, but we're very happy with what's come forward so far. We would like to,
No, go ahead.
we would like to get responses from a much wider set of respondents. And so, anybody who's out there who could fill in our questionnaire for us, if you identify as a woman, please do, because we want to hear the stories from people from all over the world, of different age groups and levels of experience, and with different types of experience in different sectors as well. So we're very happy, but we haven't got there yet, and there's a long way to go still. Do you want to add anything?
No, I was just going to add the same thing. So please, get in touch with us. And I think we're conscious that initially we may have collected data from women with over, sort of 20 years experience, and people, you initially send out the questionnaire to contact groups that you're members of. So it'd be fantastic if we could have younger women involved in the sample from all over the world who, we want to be able to give voice to these women and share their stories. And we're hoping to, publish the research and the findings in journal articles and book chapters. So, please keep, fill in our questionnaire if at all possible. We will be extremely grateful for your help.
I love that, because this is definitely one of those opportunities where even if you can't attend IATEFL live, you can contribute and you can add to this. And I think this is one of those topics that we all have an opinion about, and we all have a voice. So use yours, fill in the questionnaire. And then I look forward to, well, unfortunately not your session, but the books and the articles that are coming, definitely. And good luck with your
Thank you
talks.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back, and I'm joined in the studio with none other than Vicky Salmel. Vicky, how are you?
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm delighted to have you with us. Vicky, if you didn't know, and you should because you could have watched it, was our plenary speaker on day one. Vicky, how was it?
Okay, it was fabulous, but nerve-wracking at the same time.
I can imagine. And the room was packed. It was absolutely,
It was. Luckily, I didn't see there were people sitting on the floor at the moment. And I only realized that when people sent me pictures of it, and I said, oh my God. So that did not distract me.
Oh my goodness. For anyone who wasn't watching, what was the topic of your plenary?
Well, AI.
What else? Yeah, absolutely. And what was your angle on it with AI?
Well, I tried to pitch it at a very balanced talk, talking about the possibilities talking about how it's affecting the different stakeholders in our language learning industry, and also talking about some of the darker issues behind it that we will need to address as we look ahead.
Absolutely, and I think that's where quite a few people were surprised.
Lots of people were surprised about the environmental impact that I mentioned, and of course, yeah, we will need to look into that in detail.
And so when you were approached by IATEFL and they said, would you do a plenary, did they give you the freedom to decide on the topic, or was it prompted? How did it happen?
No, it was very general. It was like, yes, we wanted to be on AI. And then I racked my brains for a few weeks until I sorted out, I figured out in my head what I wanted it to be about. And I was sure there were going to be lots of practical sessions during the conference. So I decided early on I was not going to do anything very practical, and I was not going to show any examples, which was a bit risky. But I said it's going to be theory and issues, and I did lots of research with different people, colleagues in different roles, to know, well, what they were thinking about it and how AI was impacting the roles already. So I got lots of inside information that I could use in my talk.
Yeah, which is brilliant. And if anyone hasn't come across you before, but you probably have, Vicky was the coordinator for the Learning Technology SIG. So you have a very great interest in the use of technology in language teaching.
Yeah, and that goes back to, I don't know, 2009 or something like that, the early, beginning of Twitter. And then that kind of became my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you using much technology in your teaching at the moment? Because I know, are you teaching primary or secondary?
I'm teaching both. I'm
okay.
teaching curricular English in a regular school, secondary school. So I use some technology there, mostly bring your own devices, student smartphones, and I teach primary school in the afternoon. And in that school, I am a kind of a digital projects facilitator. So in that school, I do use lots of technology to create digital learning experiences for the learners based on what they are working on with their classroom teachers.
And so is it a positive thing to have technology in the classroom in the primary school system that you work in? Do the kids bring it in, or is it provided by the school? What's the landscape?
No, we have a computer lab fixed with about 14 desktop computers, and kids normally share. So they work in pairs.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's a collaboration.
So it's collaboration, forced collaboration. And we do with the younger ones, we do lots of games. And as they grow up, we start doing more production stuff. So it's really fun.
Oh, this is excellent. And Vicky, what's your role at the moment in IATEFL? I know that you've been a lot of different positions for a lot of different organization groups. What are you doing at the moment?
Well, last year I stepped down from my position as a coordinator in the Learning Technology SIG after many years serving as a volunteer for the SIG. And so it's actually my first IATEFL not being a volunteer. So I don't know. For the moment, I'm vacant.
If anyone's looking. But this is, and how has volunteering in all those different positions helped your professional development, would you say?
Oh, it's been life-changing.
Yeah.
I remember I started with the Learning Technology SIG as a community manager. So that was probably a good call because I was far away and it was a job I could do well from a distance. And then I was asked to please become the treasurer, which was not my area at all, but it was a wonderful learning experience. So it was a bit out of my comfort zone, but it was wonderful. Then I became joint coordinator, then solo coordinator. And at some point, I was also part of the publications committee. So I learned a lot about publications and self-publishing and public relations, and yeah, it's all been a great journey, a learning journey for me.
So yeah, so if anyone's interested in volunteering, you'd recommend it?
Absolutely, absolutely. There are there are always things you can do. There are always things you can contribute to a SIG. SIGs are the best way of doing it because you can find the SIG that is your area of interest, and you collaborate with colleagues and you learn, and it's really, really wonderful.
Okay, so if you're thinking about doing it, absolutely go for it. And in terms of perhaps future conferences, where do you see ELT going? Which direction? Do you think next year will be more AI, or do you think we'll have moved on to something else?
I think there will still be lots of AI. What we probably will have is lots of people who have had enough time experimenting with it, and we might have more solid research, formal research, and look at those results. And of course, AI tools will have evolved as well, so we will always have to be looking at what's coming. So, but yeah, I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. And something that we've just seen this afternoon, and we'll talk about tomorrow morning, was the debate about whether or not AI is good for differentiation and individualization. That was very interesting.
It was very interesting. It was fun. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, opinions rather divided. So we'll chat more about that tomorrow morning, I think. Vicky, what are you looking forward to for the rest of your time in Brighton?
Networking, talking to friends, socializing, maybe see a couple of sessions. But yeah, it's been fun.
It has. And I look forward to seeing you next year in Edinburgh.
Yeah, looking forward to that too.
Vicky, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And hello again. As I said before, I will be talking to our scholarship winners today. And I'm very excited to have with me Marisol Guzman Kova. Marisol, welcome to IATEFL Live.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So how has the conference been so far for you?
Excellent, fabulous. A lot of inspiring talks. It's very important to be in touch with people who are researching and sharing very interesting research for all of us who are in this lovely field of knowledge. Yes.
Fantastic. Marisol, you are one of our scholarship winners, and you focus particularly on the research SIG.
Yes.
Yes. Now, before you tell us how you came here, can you tell us a few things about yourself?
Sure. Well, I am based in Mexico. I have 23 years of teaching experience. I've been in many different places as a coordinator, as a teacher educator. That is my favorite one because I think future teachers need or scaffolding. Once you have experience, well, you can provide them with support, yeah, to become the best. And well, this is basically what I have done, and what inspires me is exactly that: the way how research complements and guides us, yeah, in our everyday efforts while lecturing. Yeah.
Exactly. And what has led you to the Research SIG scholarship then? How was the process for you?
Well, it was exciting. I saw the the announcement, and I visualized myself here. I said I wanted to attend to Brighton. For us, it's kind of difficult, you know. Economy situations, it's very expensive for a person in Latin America to attend these kind of events, but I was so enthusiastic, and I put my heart on my writing. I sent a composition explaining the reasons for being here. So I just open my heart and say my real reasons, that is my passion for teaching English.
Brilliant. Now, you also gave a talk.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you had a very interesting term there, autonomous identity
Yes.
for pre-service teachers.
Yes.
What does it mean? How do you define autonomous identity?
Well, let me give you shortly a background. Unfortunately, in recent research, we were informed that our students have one weakness that we as teacher educators need to pay attention at. That is this lack of group management and lack of an empowered identity. So this confirmed my efforts because I studied a PhD here in the UK, and that was my research topic. So identity for me has meant this agency to decide and solve constraints in the right moment. Yeah, maybe well, in my setting, foreign language is not the most popular subject, so we need to demonstrate, yeah, that we have capacities, knowledge, and we are determined teachers as others. Yes, and our field is so worth it.
Exactly. And what were some of the challenges that you faced during your research?
Of course, that autonomy is not very common. So I try to inject, for example, my participants with that spirit that even though they cope with difficult circumstances sometimes, come on, your autonomy gives you the power, yeah, to empower yourself and empower your students and to believe in yourself. I think that is a challenge that sometimes we cope with our future teachers.
Exactly. Now, how can we've heard in the conference here the term AI quite a lot. How can technology or AI maybe contribute towards this goal?
I think it's so important, and it's a responsibility for teacher educators to get in touch with this, to inform ourselves, yes, about the benefits of not just replacing. Is not the word. It's not replacing. It is just a tool for reflection and improving our efforts in every activity in the classroom. I think it's so useful.
What would be the first step for a teacher to work towards this autonomous identity goal?
Oh, that is a good question because I think it's determination. Yeah. Because in my case, for example, life made me autonomous since I was a child. And I think I didn't realize until not too far away that I was autonomous. So maybe you need to understand that you have that power in your hands and you have the decision, and then you have the right to decide the following step.
Brilliant. Now, having won the scholarship, how will this affect your research in the future? How will this experience define your research?
Of course, I think every opportunity we have, yeah, to share and listen to comments and things enriches our view. So I think the first, or well, what is coming is to go deeper, yeah, and to find out the sense, a real sense in the real world, yeah. It's not just theoretical, but practical in the way that we need to work and carry on studies and practices and the spirit of autonomy.
Exactly. Now, what have you done so far in IATEFL?
I participated in the pre-conference events with a poster and then a presentation. I stay in the showcase of the research SIG, where I collaborate as an outreach co-coordinator. And I have been attending to many talks and greetings and good friends and meeting others. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Now, last question for you, Marisol, is what advice would you give to the people watching us from home who want to apply for a scholarship? What will you say to our audience?
Believe in yourself. Dreams come true, and everything depends on, I think, two things. That attitude you have towards life, believing in yourself, and the efforts, your energies that have to be positive, to be determined to achieve what you really want.
Brilliant. Marisol, it was great to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck in your research.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Something you won't be short of at IATEFL is things to do in the evening. And last night, Dynamic Duets made its debut on the social programme. Pairs of delegates go head-to-head in light-hearted, ELT-related and non-related debates. Let's take a look at a debate about football.
Who do you know better, Maradona or Pelé? Oh, shut up. Pelé. Who do you know better? Who do you know? Maradona, right? Of course. Oh, numbers, blah, blah, blah.
World Cups does Pelé have?
Quantity over quality, love.
How many does Maradona have?
He won the 1986 World Cup single-handedly with a goal that some Brits may not want to really. I'm not going to win you over by talking about that goal. I think that, you know, he sort of.
Yeah.
Sorry, of God. The dribble of Maradona. Come on, and he helps the poor with all his money. In Italy and in Argentina. Any Italians in the house?
Yeah.
Napoli, you know, Maradona is a god in Italy as well.
So if this looks like something that you might be interested in, come and give it a go, and maybe it could be you. Hello again, and I'm joined this time by Sylvia from Language Cert. Hello.
Hi, Nikki. It's great to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. How are you?
Good, good. We really enjoyed this afternoon. We had our signature event.
Wow, oh, wow. Okay, tell us everything. So your signature event was about learning and assessment in the digital age.
Exactly.
What happened? Who attended? How did it go?
It was a full room, and we're very, very excited about that. We had 4 speakers, and we wanted to blend the expertise that we bring from the assessment world. So we had part of our member of our assessment team, Kathy Jones, who's developing Language Cert Academic, and she's behind that assessment. And we also had a member of our learning and materials team, Claire Sheridan. And then we also wanted to hear from other stakeholders. So we had Dr. Owen Jordan from University of St. Andrews, and also Ian Johnson from Avalane, who works with digital tools for publishers.
Wow. Okay. So this is a lovely mix of people with a very strong background. And what was the general feeling? Where are we going?
First of all, I think the title is important because we wanted to talk about that continuum from learning to assessment. And, you know, we do see that as a continuum, and, you know, it's not 2 separate spaces. And the next is, I think, the format, and what was really, we wanted to create, you know, there's all this talk about AI and kind of human computer interaction. We wanted to create these, you know, human context where, you know, people are in discussion with each other. So it was our audience really witnessed a discussion among experts, and they, you know, it wasn't just input. They were, you know, feeding off each other's ideas, and you know, looking at a live discussion from 4 people who are really passionate about what they do. This is what we wanted to give to the IATEFL audience, and we feel that, you know, this is something that changes the pace a bit, because I know there could be a lot of PowerPoint presentations, and obviously these have their place where there's an input, but there's something magical about seeing people in discussion. And then we had also very good input from and a lively discussion with the participants. So yeah, feeling very excited about it. Now, loads of things were said during the I think we talked about the digital learner and the opportunities that the digital environments offer for accessible, anytime, any place. But we also talked about the communities, and how do we see digital communities forming? But we also thought about the teacher and what are the tools that teachers can use. Dr. Jordan from the University of St. Andrews made a very good point about, what are the elements of human language that he finds important. He talked about interactional competence and this ability to really be in conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Help me with digital community. Well, how do you understand it? What does it mean?
Well, there are different kinds of spaces where people, come together. Basically, it's creating spaces where people would come together to feel that they're becoming part of something. I mean, at IATEFL, you create a teaching community and a global teaching community. And the same in language. So what we try to do, and we will be trying to do in the next years, is to create a space for teachers who are involved with their assessment, or even, who just want to find a space with other teachers. And because there is a lot of these digital tools, they offer this kind of anytime, any place. So you can, use them wherever you are. But we shouldn't be missing out on the power of coming together. And it could be a digital space like, what we're doing here, and sharing it online with your audience. It could be, a discussion board or a forum. So there are a number of opportunities that we're exploring. And I think it's important to think about the notions of communities.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. And so for anyone who's watching and they're not sure what Language Cert is, could you give us a bit of background about the organisation?
Yes, thank you. I mean, we're an awarding organisation, Ofqual regulated. We have been, part of the assessment landscape for the last 7-8 years, and we're coming now with our new. Well, it's been 2 years out, but we have Language Cert Academic. It's a test for international university admissions.
Oh, this is lovely. Okay, so this is another certification that people can take if they wish to come to UK universities and universities abroad as well. Yes,
this is visa approved, so we have UK VI. So it's this is part of the approved test providers for student visa in the UK. We're very proud of that, and but this is one part. Language Cert Academy is a multi-level test. We also have single-level tests from A1 to C2 qualifications, our Language Cert ESOL suite, and young learners exams, adaptive tests. So we try to cover a wide range of audiences and also cover the needs of people who want to be certified. Now, when we talk about Language Cert Academic, I want to come back to that. It is exciting because it's not every year that a new academic test comes into the market. No, exactly.
And overnight, no.
And we have been very proud of the research and validation behind it. So we spend a lot of time developing and looking at what are these kind of academic skills that our students are preparing for and they will be needing to use within academic contexts. So how can then we develop a qualification that by actually, preparing them, it's not just a hurdle, they have to just jump through, but it's also a moment of that they are, prepared for their journey into university studies. So within that exam, you will see what I find is, speaking part 2, there is like this lovely role play where they are, they're given a situation and they have to interact as if they're interacting with an accommodation officer, for example, or, they're requesting a service or they're taking part in a lecture. So there's all these natural contexts that students will find themselves in.
This is lovely. And is it a computer-based test or is it pencil and paper?
It's not a paper-based test. No, it's a digital first. Okay. So it is a digital test. We offer them in for visa reasons in test centers. Okay. So they will be going and doing a computer test in a test center.
Okay. And if someone was interested to find out how they could do this, what would their next steps be? Can they find out online, or what's the best thing to do?
They'll go on their website. They will be able to book the test there as well, and they will be able to contact test centers available throughout the UK and the world as well.
Perfect. Okay. If there are any teachers out there thinking, how can I engage a bit more with Language Certification? What could they do?
Yeah, we really try to support teachers, and this is part of my role. I'm the head of teacher support. And so first of all, we have, we believe in accessing material, and we have a wide range of free materials on our website. So we have like a book of practice papers that they can look at. We have also examiners' comments with writing samples that they can, for productive skills, a good set of videos that exemplify how the exam looks like, and also seeing candidates perform at different levels. You will be able to find that on our YouTube channel. And I think, and right now we're gearing to prepare more interactive preparation material for the learners. And I think for teachers, we also have, I thought that at some point it was important that in certain contexts, teachers might need a bit more support. So we created lesson plans around the practice materials. So, you get a practice paper, and a lot of experienced teachers can immediately just, pull the things that they want and create a lesson around it. And, by no means our suggestion is the final suggestion, but we wanted to facilitate that process for maybe, more new teachers who might be working. Then they need an example of how they could do that. Absolutely. So they will be able to find examples of lesson plans on the website.
So there's a lot of support on the website.
There is, yes.
And you said that you were the head of teacher support?
Yes.
So is there anything in the pipeline for teacher development, or what are you doing in order to help teachers on their professional development journey?
We have launched a series of webinars. It's called Language Cert for Teachers, and this is a series that again specifically addresses teachers coming into the profession now, and we do a 4 series on developing the different skills. So you might even want to think about it at a kind of initial teacher training certification level, developing listening, developing speaking. So we feel that oftentimes communities want that, and they're not product related, but we want to be able to feel very enabled to go out in the classroom. One of the things that we do is that we have our guest speakers series. So we invite important voices from the community, the teaching community. A number of our speakers are at the conference as well. And, I'm always here looking for the new voices. And I try to make them meaningful in the sense that I want to create a theme around it. So last year, we looked at creating a culture of care in language education, and we looked at the notion of care in education, and we had a series of webinars there. This year, building on the theme of care, we looked at the theme was caring through stories. And we looked at storytelling in different contexts, from film and video to stories about the climate, to stories about classroom management, to stories for young learners. So this is what we try to do. We try to come up with a theme that's exciting, and then we invite 4 speakers to sort of surround the topic. And, you will also be able to see the speakers in our events as well. So we try to create a kind of blended experience where, the same voices and the themes, they appear in our online and offline events.
Oh, this is wonderful. And so teachers can potentially access some of these.
They're all on YouTube.
On YouTube. That's excellent. Okay. One last question. There's still 1 day left for the conference before the end. Do you have any plans?
Well, yes, absolutely. First of all, let me say it's been a great IATEFL conference in Brighton. The lineup of plenaries, the great buzz around AI, but also around social emotional learning. You feel that the community, and I think you captured it very well this year. So for me, it's I still have my talk tomorrow. So
what time's your talk?
Yeah, 12:30. Holding on till the final day. It's on using visual literacy frameworks. So my background and research background is on visual literacy.
Wonderful, okay.
And I'm thinking about how we can use these new frameworks. I'm going to be introducing them in the talk, and to facilitate multimodal assessment. So assessment that does not only care about linguistic mode, but also thinks about the visual mode. I work in a higher education setting. I'm also a university lecturer, and I'm going to be using the video presentations that my students created as examples of practice in that talk.
This is wonderful. I'm hearing more and more about visual literacy, and so this is obviously something that's emerging and becoming very, very popular. Best of luck with that. I hope that goes really, really well, even though it's right at the end of the conference, but I'm sure it will be absolutely amazing. Will be. Yeah, so if anyone's around, please do come and support Sylvia, and
it'll be lovely.
Be fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
All right.
you will notice at IATEFL is that every year there is something new. This year, we are very happy to introduce to you the IATEFL Lightning Talks. The Lightning Talks is a fantastic new feature for those people who do not want to present a full session or who are presenting for the first time and they want a little bit of a confidence boost. This year, the Lightning Talks was a 3-minute presentation where you introduce your topic to a room full of people and you share your ideas and lessons that you have learned over the past year. So let's go and watch a little snip from one of our past interviewees, Abigail Ekango.
Student-made learning and evaluation material. What gave me this idea was that in my English language teaching classroom routine, I noticed that every time we were trying to do revision with the students, we would always give them sentences, fill the gaps, tick the correct answer. And so the students got bored. And I thought about something different that would help the learners do revision in a more fun way. So the objective of the little project was to help those learners revise all what we've been doing in class in a funny, amazing, jovial atmosphere using creative and different material. The next slide is just images of some of the things that the learners created. So I just wanted, initially I used to do the innovation myself, like I would draw to express some ideas and show them some links between what my drawings and the English language lesson that I have to deliver represent. So I wanted to give a try this time, giving my learners the opportunity to try to do like me, like represent a grammatical or vocabulary notion using a drawing or whatever they could imagine. And so I was very impressed by the results that these learners could produce as final revisions. And the images show some of the things that the learners did. And the procedure is, it's like a fair. So the learners would do the creations and then they are going to expose them in the classroom. And I would go through and listen to them explain their drawings, connecting them to a particular lesson in class. And then I would also give their classmates the opportunity to visit the other learners and try to discover their various drawings and trying to connect to the ideas and the creation. So that's just a brief project timeline. It's an activity that I do once per term at the end of the term prior to the final examination. The first month we'll do our lessons and then we do the usual integration with sentences, filling the gaps and so on. Second month, same thing. And then the third month, which is the month that is going to finalize the lesson, the first term lessons, we do a pre-evaluation and then we do a lesson resume fair. So, oh no. Conclusively, the idea is to help the learners revise English in a jovial atmosphere, learning something, trying to learn for fun, revising in fun. And luckily, I brought some of the material in my bag and I'll be behind the table and I'll be very happy to introduce myself there and show you so you get to feel some of the work that the learners did behind. Thank you.
So this was the Lightning Talks, 3-minute presentations for you to boost your confidence in public speaking, but also share your ideas with the world. Join us next year in IATEFL.
And I'm here in very, very special company. I've never had my own tune yet, but please do that again. Oh, don't I sound good having my own tune? I'm here with David and Harry. Could you please introduce yourselves?
I'm David Heathfield. I'm a storyteller. That's what I am, a storyteller.
And I'm Harry Kucha Kucha. IATEFL ambassador, by the way, very proud one. And it's and I'm a storyteller. Well, I'm not a storyteller. I do tell stories from my grandma's repertoire.
Harry, I know you. Harry Kucha Kucha is a storyteller.
A very humble storyteller. And you're here to talk about tonight, because this show we've talked a couple times about IATEFL and the life that IATEFL really is, and we have evening programs, and tonight we have a really special evening program, storytelling for peace.
Every year I've hosted a storytelling evening event at IATEFL since 2006. And I've had different people collaborating with me and sharing the hosting with me. Harry hosted with me last year. Wonderful that we're doing it again this year. It's all about celebrating the diversity. It's all about inclusion. It's welcoming everybody. We're a global, it's not just English. It's a community of languages and cultures. And storytelling for peace just feels like the right theme for this year. It's what we need. And there are so many stories. I mean, storytelling in itself is an act of peace.
Yeah.
But stories can really take us into new spaces, open up possibilities, how things could be different. And that's what this evening's about. But we don't know what's going to happen. We just see what comes up.
Because that's what I was going to ask, like, what's going to happen? What can people expect?
Well, I've got a couple of stories prepared. Harry is so spontaneous. I don't know if he's got anything prepared. I think he's just going to respond to the moment. Or have you got something?
I can't say I know what story I'll be telling, but I'll respond to the moment. I think one thing I've enjoyed about the storytelling evening is how spontaneous it is. People come inspired and they listen to stories. They are inspired, they want to tell a story, and there are always connections between these stories. And that's what makes our world a great place, that we tell stories sometimes with the same theme, but different character names and different cultures are embedded in that story and in the different stories. And it's just amazing. Last year we had a story from a guy in China that sounded almost the same like a story from my culture. And that tells us that this diversity that we see is actually, there's some unity in that diversity, and that is embodied in an IATEFL conference like this one.
We're all the same, and yet we're all different. It's
wow, I have nothing more to say.
That's a pity, because I was hoping to ask you to tell us the story.
Well, I've been doing something very special in the last few months. So I've been working for the last number of years with children and teachers, particularly in Gaza, in Palestine. And I've learned a lot of beautiful folk tales through the World Storytelling Cafe. And just a couple of weeks ago, a girl called Hala, who's in Gaza, managed to get online and tell some stories on video at the World Storytelling Cafe, where I'm very involved. This is Hala and her sister Shatha. And for the first time in 6 months, we had live storytelling from Gaza. And the story that Hala opened, these are some of the children, by the way, from Gaza, who've shared stories. And the project I started is called Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale. And I've shared 65 stories with videos of kids in Gaza telling stories from 2020 to 2023. And since January, Haneen Jadala Khaled, hello Haneen, and I have invited people around the world to retell those stories. And we've got so many storytellers around the world, teachers around the world, coming on and learning those stories from those children, representing them, valuing them. And they're such beautiful stories about peace, justice, harmony. Hala came on video 2 weeks ago, and this is the story that Hala told us. This is a message for all of us. There were two friends, and the friends' names were Samir and Hassan. And Samir and Hassan were on a journey across the hot desert. They walked and they walked on the hot sand. The sun was burning down, and they were exhausted. They had no water. They were thirsty. And as they walked under the hot sun, they became irritated with each other. They became annoyed with each other. They couldn't bear each other's company. They turned face to face and they began to shout at each other. And then Samir struck his friend, and Hassan fell to the sand, and there on his knees, he took his finger and he wrote swiftly in the sand. When he had finished writing, his friend Samir saw what he had written. Here my friend hurt me. Hassan got to his feet, and they carried on walking across the sand. It was hot, but there was no more fight. They were thirsty, they were desperate for water, and there in the distance, they could see green. There was an oasis. They began to run faster and faster, and it was Hassan who reached the water first. Oh, clear, deep water. He plunged into the water to drink, to refresh himself. But Hassan didn't realize how deep that clear, fresh water was. He sank down beneath the surface, down and down and down. Now Hassan could not swim. He flailed around, but was drowning. And Samir, seeing his friend in peril, risking his own life, dived into the water, swam down and found his friend and pulled him to the surface, dragged his friend to the edge, pulled him out of the water. And when he was recovered, Hassan took out his knife. Beside the water, there was a stone. Hassan began to carve into the stone. It took a long time to write words in stone. And when he had finished, Samir read what he had written. Here my friend saved me. Why? When I hurt you, you wrote it in the sand, but here where I save you, you carve it in stone. My friend, said Hassan, when you hurt me, I wrote it with my finger in the sand so that soon the winds of forgiveness would blow and the words would be forgotten. Here where you saved me, I carve it in stone so this deed will always be remembered. Always write your hurts in the sand and carve your blessings in stone. Can you imagine an 18-year-old girl from Gaza sharing that story with the world at this moment?
Wow. I mean, I got goosebumps just listening to you. I can imagine you hearing that live.
Hassan and Samir and Hala and Shatha and their younger sister are hoping to be crossing into Egypt this week.
Reconciliation and safety. It's a happy ending to
we hope.
Did it really get chilly here? Is that him?
Yeah, it's that story. That story is very powerful, especially at this time, in this period, with all the difficulties and the challenges. To hear a teenager tell a story like that, it's just lovely. It's just lovely, and I really do hope that the wind would blow away the hurt, and that in a very short time the world would be a really peaceful place.
There is so much going on, and as you say, it's our kids, it's the young people that it's impossible really that they show such strength and resilience and wish for peace, really.
Thank you.
And this is a preview for what's happening tonight.
Yeah, but the stories will be so varied this evening. There'll be fun, there'll be laughter, there'll be joy, there may even be some dancing.
Definitely be chants and dancing, and there will be, yeah. So we would love to invite everyone to come to the story night and to come with a story. We would be sharing our stories, but of course we want to hear stories from around the world. We want people to tell us stories because we are longing to know the world and to enjoy the peace that stories can bring to an international community like this one. So yeah.
And the listeners And the listeners, not everyone might tell a story this evening, but those who come and listen will take away stories that they can pass on. And that is what storytelling is about.
We're all storytelling. We're all storytellers, hearing stories, telling them.
No human
sharing
being is
them.
not a storyteller. Yeah, there's always a way of communicating the stories we carry with us, because the stories we are told and the stories we tell are what make us who we are.
Beautifully spoken and very true. So anyone who might not feel as confident about being a storyteller can also come tonight, listen and talk.
You know, often the greatest joy is the moment when a person has a go and they've never done it before, but there's something so honest and truthful about that moment. Sometimes I always enjoy that moment more than any professional honed storyteller, because that is someone revealing their truth and their heart is opened, and it's beautiful.
Spoken from the heart. Yeah, that's beautiful. And then especially with music.
Oh yeah, I'll be there on the backup to see whoever wants a drum to accompany their story. I'll be fine with that, as long as they tell me the beat, or I could make up one that works well. But yeah, we're going to have some chants. It might be warrior chants from Africa. It could be peace. It will be definitely, there would be chants of peace, chants of wisdom, and we will be encouraging people to bring their local languages into the chant. Yeah, because that's also important. We need to recognize our linguistic diversity and how together as an international community of multilinguals and people who speak all the languages, English unites us. And today I'll be encouraging people to bring their language into one of the chants that we do. Yeah.
Beautiful. So
please give us a flavor of a language that you know, Harry.
I speak Agam, of course. So one of them would be Wakawifen Bamadumo Izako. Your answer would be Zafumo.
Jafumo.
Wakawifen Bamadumo Izako.
Jafumo.
Wakawifen Bamadumo Izako.
Jafumo.
Izako. Pamafumo Izako.
Jafumo.
Wow. So really, like, if you can't attend this year, then definitely come next year, because this is an annual thing. There's dancing, there's singing, there's storytelling, there's happy stories and stories that will make you, well, if you tell them, cry. I know you have that power over people. So really, like IATEFL, we do it all. And I think that is the beauty of having so many people from so many places all over the world.
It's
together.
always the highlight of my storytelling year. Obviously, it's also the highlight of my conference every year as well.
Highlight of the year. So if you can't now, then definitely come next year. And stay tuned for the next talk. If we're talking education and sustainability, how do we make our schools or classrooms greener? Well, obvious. Add greenery. Plants in classrooms are a great way to teach children about the environment and caring for something. But did you also know that some plants significantly purify the air? And that a lot of plants in the school or classroom will have a positive impact on your learning outcomes? Now, we know that how a classroom is built up and organized affects our pupils. Art on the wall, where and how to put the tables, but also plants. Research has shown that plants have a positive impact on our health. They keep the air fresh and can even reduce noise if you place them correctly. But also, plants have a positive impact on our mental well-being. If we're surrounded by plants, it's proven we're happier, and also we can focus better, which is exactly what we want in our classrooms. Not to mention, by the way, the impact that plants and greenery has to your school building. Did you know that adding plants to your building or planting trees next to your school building can be just as effective as an air conditioning unit inside? Except it's far more sustainable. And you have to admit, these plants are a lot cuter to look at than an air conditioning unit is.
Ready to revolutionize your ELT courses? Introducing ITN Education's captivating videos, the key to transforming English language learning. With our expertly crafted content, we'll accelerate language acquisition like never before. Whether in class or online, our custom-built videos support your learning objectives. Discover ITN Education at IATEFL and elevate your ELT courses today. ITN Education, where learning comes to life.
Welcome back. How can I follow up after this introduction to the story? But as promised today, I'm very, very excited to welcome our scholarship winners. And today with me, I have got Sasha Avramenko. Sasha, welcome to our live show.
Hello, thank you very much. Very excited to be here.
Excellent. So, Sasha, you have won a scholarship.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Can you tell us a few things about the scholarship that you've won?
Yes, I have received a literature and creativity special group scholarship. I have described my reading club and the experiences in it. I started that reading club when the war in Ukraine started, and this is the community where children can share their experiences and learn English along the way.
Brilliant. And how has the project gone so far?
Well, wonderful, because they are very interested in learning, and they are actually texting me every weekend to confirm that we're having the next meeting next week. Yes, they are, forcing me to keep going.
I absolutely love it. When we have got a delegate or a scholarship winner who come to me and tell me that I have been doing this and children are interested in reading, which is very, very difficult to do these days, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm fascinated and also a little bit scared because, I don't think that's a normal children's behavior when they actually ask for the next lesson. So, yeah,
Exactly.
very excited about it as well. Yeah.
What was the first step then to inspire those kids to not only read, but also ask for the next lesson?
I guess that's the personal involvement and the fact that we are genuinely interested in one another. So we share experiences and we care about each other. And I think this is the foundation. This is something that, fosters the spirit of the love for literature.
Excellent. Now, Sasha, can you tell us a few things about your work, you and your ELT journey?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. I work at a comprehensive school in Kyiv. This is the a regular school with all the subjects where I teach English, and also I am a freelancer with my own reading club and other group lessons.
Fantastic. And doing a reading club is something that has always interested me as well. When did the idea first come to you?
It's been with me forever, and I've always been envisioning this kind of community where children would want to come, not because it is required from them, not because it is something that their parents tell them to do, but because they would really want to be there. And I was thinking about the ways how to, make it come to life. And then it just happened, because there was a need for that, and it just emerged. So, yeah.
And what kind of resources do you use, and how do you start the search for the reading club?
I find the books online. I always listen to my children's needs, to their interests. So I care a lot about what they want to read about, what they are interested in. And that's why they want to come back. That's why they always do. So I find the books online, and then I prepare the reading sessions. Like I break them into pieces with different activities and questions that I ask them.
Fantastic. What challenges have you faced so far in this project?
I think the biggest challenge would be the fact that last year, for example, we did have power cuts because the problems with electricity, I think for the evident reason, and because of the power plants were destroyed. And that was the biggest challenge because concerning the involvement of children and my personal involvement, there's never been any issues.
Of course. And how did you deal with this issue? What did you do to continue inspiring the children?
Well, we did everything possible and impossible. We went to the places where there would be internet. Sometimes we were I was outside finding the internet connection and staying longer at the places where there was the like constant internet connection when there were power cuts in the district where I live.
Brilliant. Now, Sasha, is this your first IATEFL conference?
Yes, it is. It is.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And as a first timer, what are your first thoughts?
Well, I would definitely come back because it's been such an incredible inspiration. And I'm choosing the talks that I go to, the workshops, depending on who is presenting and on the topic itself. And I've been inspired, yes, by the amazing speakers, by the president of IATEFL. For example, today I went to her workshop and she was, because she is so inspired, she told us about her desire to bring different topics into her classroom, not just the regular things that people normally do and discuss and learn about, children, teenagers, adults, and but she always brings something new, something fresh for her students, which makes it more interesting for the teacher, so yeah, and the process just keeps going. Yeah,
absolutely agree. Alex is a brilliant resource of information as well herself.
Yeah.
What other sessions have you attended then?
I have attended, well, there was the pre-conference event organized by Literature, Lit SIG and Creativity Group. And there were sessions about the queer literature, like everything was around literature. So there was the queer literature, there was the talk about the books that help children. This is, because this is very close, something very close to my heart and, to my context. The books that fostered this spirit of uniqueness, and that it is okay to be different. It is okay to be who you want to be. So that inspired me a lot. And also, because I'm sort of thinking about moving towards teacher training a little bit, so I was attending a couple of sessions about that, which was, pretty complicated for me so far, but very interesting.
Yes. And now one of the hot topics this year is AI.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that AI will encourage more children to read, or how would you be able to use AI in your pursuit of this project?
Thank you. This is actually a very interesting question because I think it was on Monday at the opening plenary. I went to the AI, like a super big talk by Vicky, and it was so different from everything we talk about in Ukraine, because what we do is absolutely fantastic and useful. We talk about different tools and how we can use them. So about implementing AI, and here, and I was exposed to a bigger picture. I believe that artificial intelligence is not going to stop us or children from learning, because what we do as teachers, we teach them different skills, things that they can do, but now they can do them using AI. So it's just something we have to get along with, we have to implement it into our teaching practices. So that's what I believe in. Yeah.
Brilliant. And during the conference, have you been able to go around Brighton, enjoy the city as well?
Yes, definitely. I'm still waiting for my, this, I don't know how you call this, I call it like a tablet or something. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know the name of it. This thing that goes up and down, what is the name of it?
It is the Brighton Eye 360, I think.
It's the Brighton Eye, because I was like, London Eye, no, that has to have a different name, but that's the same. Okay.
Yes,
so
it's just across the street.
yeah,
yes.
but I did walk along the streets and went near the palace and along the beach. Yeah, just to, all the necessities.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, we usually ask people to tell us how IATEFL makes them feel. So I will ask the same question to you. How does IATEFL make you feel?
Thank you very much. Because it this is a very easy question for me to answer, because it makes me feel like I belong, and this is a fantastic feeling. Like I am. I'm always happy and I'm constantly smiling, and I'm thinking, even when I'm walking down the streets, I'm thinking maybe that's weird, but I don't care. Yeah. And I feel happy. I feel involved. I feel connected. I feel like I belong. Yeah.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
Sasha. It has been brilliant to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with your project. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you more next time in IATEFL.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
It's been a pleasure.
Enjoy
Thanks.
the conference.
Thanks.
Welcome to Brighton, the vibrant seaside city ensconced along the southern coast of England. Prepare to embark on a journey of discovery as we uncover the fascinating and quirky facts that make Brighton truly unique. Brighton isn't just a vibrant seaside town, it also holds a secret world lurking beneath its surface. Built in the 18th century, these passageways were originally used for drainage and, shall we say, a spot of smuggling. While most remain hidden, some sections are now open for exploration. So, if you're feeling adventurous, you can embark on a guided tour and delve into Britain's fascinating and slightly spooky underground history.
While I was going around the conference these past 3 days, I've noticed that someone is walking around with a roving camera, and I have grabbed this person. I have grabbed Olia.
That's right.
Jaworska.
Olia Jaworska.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So, Olia, what have you been doing with the camera?
I've been going around and trying to interview people, especially some of the major ELT stars, to ask them where they stand on the topic that we presented yesterday. We had a forum on xenoglossophobia. Some people call it xenoglossophobia, which is known more as foreign language anxiety.
What is foreign language anxiety?
Foreign language anxiety, so simply put, it's the apprehension, the fear, or the mental block that students usually experience whenever they need to use a foreign language. It can be manifested in various ways. It can be testing fear. It can be the fear of listening, but in most cases, it's the fear of speaking, of course.
Oh, great. And what inspired you to be involved with this topic?
Actually, the trigger for me was one of the cases I had with my coachee. We call our students coachees because I work as a neurolanguage coach. So what I experienced with him is the fact that he had to hide in his room or sometimes even in his attic from some of his family members who probably didn't share his view on learning a foreign language. He worked as an electrician, and his passion for English was something that he wanted to do in his spare time. So he felt really embarrassed of that, and maybe he heard some derogatory remarks from them as well. So I felt really sorry for this person, and I believed that that was probably one of my missions because I couldn't find any helpful information online or information from, other people that could help me, help that person overcome this anxiety. But we managed to rewire his brain a little bit. So, yeah.
Brilliant. I'm very happy that you're talking about this topic because I grew up in a family where English was not spoken. So nobody spoke English, or nobody could understand my experience in learning English. So I was very shy, sometimes embarrassed as well to speak English in front of my family. So because I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people out there, and because in the ELT community we have a lot of teachers who are watching us from home who feel this way. What would be, you mentioned about tweaking the brain. What can we do to tweak our brain?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. So what we do in neurolanguage coaching, we try to help people acquire a foreign language with that conscious understanding of how our brain works. And usually it's intertwined, so the inner world cannot be disregarded when we learn a foreign language. Everything, like I say, everything is related to everything, and everything influences everything, right?
Yes.
So when we talk about foreign language anxiety, we need to dig deeper and involve or talk about our cognitive distortions. So the way we interpret events or the information that is coming and that is being processed by our brain. So usually it's the, let's say, the black or white thinking, where people look at information and see, they say whether it's either perfect or a complete failure. Yeah, like for example, if students fail one test, they believe that everything else, yes, will most likely end up this way. Yeah, so they don't recognize the nuances of a particular situation. Or when students label some situations as awkward, for example, disregarding all the positive elements of the situation they experienced, or when they have this, when they fixate on perfectionism because they want to sound just like native speakers.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they do not reward themselves with the happy hormones which are needed.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you're mentioning all of these elements. We did not hear them enough, and I think that this is an important interview as well. So we've mentioned behind the scenes. I'm just going to give a sneak preview of behind the scenes. We've mentioned neural language.
Yes.
Which is an area that you're working on. And I'm really interested in finding out more as well. What is neural language?
Okay, this is a great question. And this is a new but a very, very promising area in education, language teaching in particular. This is a trademark registered by Rachel Marie Paling. And later on, she'll be giving a talk today about brain-friendly learning, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the new approach, the methodology where we combine our knowledge about the brain, neuroplasticity, with all the other teaching methods in order for our students to understand how our brain works, what kind of hormones are released in certain situations, so that they are conscious of what can be done in order to make this learning process more efficient.
Brilliant. And if, for example, someone wants to find resources about neural language, what is the first step?
My recommendation would be just to go online and find the website and the coaching network we have, and that is run by Rachel, of course. There are there is probably more than 1,000 neural language coaches around the world, so not a lot of people involved in that. But like I said, yeah, we are evolving as a coaching network. And there is all the information, and there is a book also on brain-friendly learning and how we can learn more efficiently. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, I've been asking everyone this question. So, for example, AI is the hot topic nowadays in this year's conference. So, do you think that AI will be influencing neural language?
Absolutely. I believe that AI will be so widespread that, well, it won't be disregarded in any ELT classroom. So it's been implemented by both students and teachers. And seeing that one of the elements that we discussed during our forum yesterday was the fact that virtual reality learning can also be one of the elements that can maybe even reduce that foreign language anxiety, because unlike the situation when we talk to humans, right? We are afraid of being judged. Yes. And whenever we need to practice English in the stress-free environment, we can always turn to, let's say, ChatGPT and talk to it without having that fear of making mistakes, because we know we won't be judged by it, right? Yes. And AI can provide that feedback that is valuable for us, so we can train multiple times before going out into the real world, talking to other people and implementing that knowledge, more confidently.
Absolutely. Now, apart from walking around the conference with your camera, which is actually recording right now.
Yes, that's true.
So we are being double recorded. What else have you done in the conference? What sessions have you seen?
I visited multiple talks. The one by John Hurd, of course, because I was really interested in that spoken grammar that he talked about. Other sessions involved gamification, also the role of AI, of course, and the one by Vicky was absolutely splendid. Before, I was not aware of how not environmentally friendly AI is actually. So we need to take that into consideration as well, as teachers, not to overuse it, just to use it whenever we need it, in our classroom. And of course, teacher training courses and Delta related ones, because I'm also on my track to Delta.
Oh wow, you must be very busy.
A little bit, because I'm a full-time working mom, a neuro language coach, and I actually came here with my kids. So we're trying to balance the conference and a little bit of sightseeing.
Fantastic. So what have you seen in Brighton so far?
Well, we went to the seaside, of course. Sea Life Brighton, if that's the right name, the palace, of course. Yeah, we had a little walk here and there, so our kids are enjoying that as well.
Excellent. And what topics do you think will be the hot topics in next year's conference?
Oh my, that's a great question. I think we will carry on talking about AI, because I believe that in a year or so, it will be a must probably for every teacher. So AI, maybe diversity as well. I hope neurolanguage coaching. Yeah, so I'll try to research that topic more and more. And I hope that foreign language anxiety will be also discussed, so that students can feel the joy of learning foreign languages and not be afraid of making any kind of mistakes or being judged by other people. Because, like I said in my talk yesterday, learning a language is not a temporary endeavor, it's a lifelong process. And they are usually not aware of that, and they should be, because that process needs to be enjoyed. We learn all the time, and the language is evolving, and we need to keep up with all the changes and just, feel the happiness while using it.
Brilliant. So next year, if you were to do a talk then, and let's say on neural language, what would the main idea be?
Wow, I haven't thought of that yet because this conference is not over. But well, I hope that we could maybe expand a little bit and talk about coaching in ELT classrooms, because usually when we hear coaching, language coaching, we think of one-on-one classes, or working with adult clients. But neurolanguage coaching and language coaching in general can be implemented in ELT classrooms, in schools, for example, teaching groups and so on, just partnering with our students, recognizing their talents, bringing more of that stress-free environment, brain-friendly learning, and so on, and giving them, empowering them with the opportunity to lead the process of learning, to tell us what they would like to see in their classroom, what their goals are, so that it's more tailored.
Exactly. So you have the application already then?
I hope so. Yeah.
Brilliant. Olia, it was great to talk to you. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work with the camera. I think that you are taking
Will do.
fantastic shots. as
Yes,
well.
yeah. Okay.
And before I let you go, we have started asking people around the conference how IATEFL makes them feel. So I would like you to tell me how IATEFL makes you feel.
That's a great question. I believe that IATEFL makes me feel needed. Students need us because even despite the rise of AI and all these various video resources, online resources that can be used independently to learn languages, I believe the human touch is absolutely crucial in language learning. Because at the end of the day, we learn and we use languages when communicating with other people and not our screens or computers. So yes, it empowers us to keep on going, keep on researching, and keep on implementing new techniques in our classroom.
Fantastic. Olia, it was great to talk to you.
Thank you. One more thing I wanted to mention. I wanted to thank Macmillan Education for allowing me to be here today, because I'm one of the winners this year as well.
Brilliant. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Rudra Thapa from Nepal, and I'm just going to present the next day, tomorrow. And today I'm trying to find out some ways to deal with the underprivileged students in the context of the third world, and I'm just searching for the same. And I'm here and I have made it, and so happy for being here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chitra, coming from India. I'm a faculty working in a college in Trivandrum, and I came to this conference. I happen to know about this conference from different scholars in the past, and I came here to engage with different scholars who are coming from all over the country and across the globe also, and to gather insights as far as possible related to English language teaching and learning, so that I can impart whatever I have gathered from here to my students and to my fellow research scholars. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sandra. I'm from Graz, from Austria. I'm the first time here, so it's really exciting. The first day was really filled with so much information. It was exciting. There were so many new things to learn about. So it was a great day, and I'm looking forward to the next few days.
Hello, I'm Apishta from India, working in Government Arts and Science College, Ollur, Kerala. It's a wonderful experience being here. It's a dream come true for me, and it's great being here. It's an opportunity to meet people from different disciplines from various parts of the world, and it's a great learning experience. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chitra, coming from India. I'm a faculty working in a college in Trivandrum, and I came to this conference. I happen to know about this conference from different scholars in the past. And I came here to engage with different scholars who are coming from all over the country and across the globe also, and to gather insights as far as possible related to English language teaching and learning, so that I can impart whatever I have gathered from here to my students and to my fellow research scholars. Thank you.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Jo Education.
I am very well. Very pleased to be by the seaside.
Yeah, welcome to Brighton. We were just discussing whether or not we'd go up there. It's not the Brighton Eye, is it? What's it called?
There's something yeah. An eye of something.
An eye of something.
I360?
Yeah, it could be an I360. It just gives you a wonderful view of the whole city, and we decided that we wouldn't.
I said because I think I just would have the urge to jump, which is a little bit unusual. But you can't. I think you're in the bubble.
Yeah,
so
I think exactly. It's concealed completely and utterly. Anyway, we digress, Dan.
Yeah, no, I've been doing that all day.
Dan, how's your IATEFL, how's it been so far for you?
It's an opportunity for me to sort of get down grassroots and listen to what the teachers are up to. We're sort of one step removed, I think, because a lot of the content that we produce is for our content partners, our publishers, and then they will interact with the teachers. But for me, it's an opportunity just to sort of see what's going on, see what the latest techniques are, see what the buzz is. Really glad that it's not AI this year like it was last year. We've been doing a lot of beta testing with AI in the last 14 months or so, and it's just we've gone over that hype curve, the expectation, and we sort of straight past the trough of disillusionment, and hopefully now we're into some sort of, is there a productive purpose for all this technology?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope so. I mean, the British Council talk last night with that, they produced a report on AI. It was actually very, very interesting. So there's some useful stats and data within that. So
brilliant. So you found it actually quite useful from that point of view.
So I've been going to the sessions, supporting some of the publishers that have got our content within. Went to a really funny one yesterday with Helbling, actually, Herbert and Chris, the authors.
Mm-hmm.
They were like a double act. It was really, really good. And they were talking about differentiation, which sort of went a bit above my head. But the fact is that they're all about the great content and engaging the learners and all that sort of stuff. But they were two real characters. So things like that, are really, really, really good.
Oh, good stuff. And so for anyone watching at home, you work for ITN Education. Perhaps start by telling us what ITN or who ITN are and education, and then the role that they play in video creation.
It's a question I get asked. ITN essentially, our heritage is in news. So we've been producing the news in this country for 70 years. Trusted journalism, authentic storytelling, eyewitness reporting. We reach 10 million people every day, in the UK. And then when I'm talking to people overseas, no one really recognizes that brand, but we do have this heritage and infrastructure in sort of factual storytelling. And that itself, I think, carries in all media. It's important that what you're watching is real and authentic, and how to engage an audience. So we're a very large factual TV production company that happens to do education as well as sport, as well as digital, as well as market comms and news, of course. And we produce lots of TV content for streamers and broadcasters. And that sort of, I guess, value, or the production values that we deploy in all of our sort of newsrooms and our TV studios, we carry that through into everything we do into education. So I think it's why we've been quite successful in this business, because we're producing content that you could actually watch.
Mm-hmm.
In its own right, or at broadcast quality, let alone the fact that we've built in specific learning outcomes, grammar and vocabulary and everything else. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, but we've actually been in education for over 20 years now. We started with a partnership with Espresso Education. It's great to see Lewis Bronze downstairs. That's now Discovery Education. So that was a news product, actually, and we still do it. Mm-hmm. For the UK primary market. So it's curriculum-based or curriculum-linked news storytelling that we still do. And then we had a partnership with Bob Geldof 10 Alps. We were doing Teachers TV, way back. And another partnership with Channel 4 Learning and Espresso Education for the Education Clip Library. So we've actually been producing language learning content for about 15 years. And this was at the time, when YouTube was coming out. So we're sort of fairly early adopters, and we've always been quite innovative in everything that we've done.
And how do you reach so many people with your video content?
Again, we're sort of one remit. So we're producers and have production partners with the publishers. So we have partnerships with the likes of Pearson, National Geographic Learning, Helbling, Oxford, Cambridge, and the BBC. So we work with all the major publishers, and then they will integrate our video content and other activities if we're asked to produce them into their courseware, which then goes out to schools. And we do occasionally get the opportunity to see, the sort of end result, but we get some great feedback from our publishing partners. And here, actually, there's quite a lot of the writers here as well. So we get sort of bumped into John Hughes yesterday. He wrote Pathways for National Geographic, which we featured quite heavily in. Mm-hmm. So it's good to get. He's another seafaring man. We're
everywhere.
We were talking about the sea. Sorry, again, I'll digress.
That's all right. Okay, so ITN is, what was I going to ask you? Yeah, so what you're making video content. What makes a good ELT video, would you say?
What makes a good video, I think, is a better question, because again, I'm borrowing all of those resources and infrastructure and experience in what we do for TV companies, and pulling that into educational videos.
Yeah.
So it's about, would I want to watch this piece of content anyway? And if the answer is no, then it's not going to work as a learning object. If I really like what I'm watching, and by the way, it's teaching me how about the present perfect or whatever, it has an additional use that's almost sort of hidden. And so the students are engaged with the content, and then will remember it. And that's how, language acquisition works. All about, retaining whatever they're watching, and but enjoying watching it. So I think what makes a good ELT video, what is it, a piece of content that I would want to watch at home, basically.
Okay.
And then we sort of go from there.
Okay. And in terms of, you were talking about news. ITN is known for being a reputable news agency, and it produces trusted and impartial news. How does that translate into the educational sector, and what does that authenticity look like in the educational content?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, as a byproduct of producing all this news for 70 years, we amassed this huge archive of true factual video content from lots of different places from all over the world. And when I launched this vertical IT and education in 2015, the demand for authentic content at that time was like, this is what everybody wants. They want real people doing real things in real situations in real places. And up until that, and even some of the ELT content we were producing to that point might have been sort of scripted drama, boy meets girl at the sort of school gate. And while that might have a function and deliver, a particular message and outcome, is it an engaging piece of content? And so we have taken, I guess, all of the production values, I'd say, from our news and TV studios, and then applied that to the language learning products that again have been so successful. So it runs through everything we do.
Okay, and you mentioned that you had in-house subject matter experts. What do they bring to language learning?
They're a really, really interesting mix of people, right? And they sort of poach them from different places, and they, some of them have been sort of teachers or sort of language teachers that have then sort of dabbled in media. Some of them have been in media and then sort of since then done some sort of language learning. So it's quite an unusual skill set to have classroom experience and then video production experience. But then actually, because we have all these other resources available to us in the building, we've managed to sort of, upskill the team, and we just keep on growing. So we're always on the lookout for new talent. So if you know
anyone's watching,
if anyone's watching, give me a shout, please.
Okay, and you're working with some really big leaders as well in the game. You've got National Geographic, as you mentioned, OUP, CUP, BBC. How is your production different, perhaps, to other people, and what do you bring to the table that might be of interest?
I'm often told that our customer service, our level of collaboration, right, goes way above and beyond where others might go, and that's, we try to get upstream as far as we can when a product or course is in development, so that we can trial and prototype stuff. ITN is big enough to develop content and try different things before we actually fix on or land on a particular style of video, because we might be producing a documentary style, but actually a vlog might work better for that one, or we might don't tend to do as many vox pops as we used to, but something like that might work, or a graphic explainer, or a 3D animation, or whatever different style we think would work best for that particular outcome. So we bring our sort of video production expertise to the editors and the media teams at the publishers, and really sort of act as sort of consultants and advisors, and are prepared to demonstrate the difference between the styles. So they might think that that is what the teachers need, but actually we might have a simpler solution that delivers the same outcome for in a much more succinct way. And we can only do that by sort of demonstrating it. So I think, and we're often told that without that process, they might have gone down a different avenue that perhaps wasn't where they wanted to land. And so our customer service and my team's ability to understand and interpret what the educationalists want,
and the flexibility that you show, which is great. Okay, so based on what you're seeing in the industry and having been around the conference, what trends, what do you think is going to happen in the next 12 months? Yeah, exactly.
This is the moment of clarity I had when I jumped in the sea this morning. You said,
Yeah, Dan was telling me earlier that he went swimming in the sea. Bear in mind, it's 13 degrees outside in the sunshine.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was swimming. It was a quick plunge after I'd been for a short jog, and then sort of, my goodness me, did I get out of there pretty quick. But my moment of clarity, I guess, was we have our own TikTok and Facebook and Insta channels, and we've learned a lot from that sort of always on. The speed at which people are sourcing and discovering content, I think, is growing in here, right? So students want or the digital natives that we're serving want everything instantly. And so I think that the trend, when I started coming to these type of conferences, many years ago, I used to be the only one talking about video. And now everyone's talking about video. Some of the courses that we're producing for National Geographic, for example, feature hundreds of videos, not just one per unit. Each unit has, a multiple array of video content within. And so I think that demand, maybe that almost always on learning, I think is something that we need to look out for, and the ability to keep up with demand, which was certainly accelerated through the pandemic. Digital content is here and very much growing. And so it's our job to make sure that we can, deliver what our customers need.
Yeah, 100%. And how do you stay at the forefront of innovation?
We have the luxury, right? I'm quite lucky that I work for quite a big media organization that has access to some really talented individuals, some very high-tech equipment. ITN has always been pushing as a commercial production company. We have to stay ahead of our competitors. So we're always looking at new ways of capturing content. We were first to have virtual studios. We were first to do the electronic news gathering in the 70s. We were first to broadcast over the 5G network. There's lots of sort of this development work that goes on with our tech team that naturally bleeds into what we do. We have access, and again, the whole TikTok and the way that those videos are published, we have a team that does that. So we can learn a lot from them. So technical innovation is always something that ITN I think has been way ahead of the curve on, and so we get to experiment with things like. At the moment, I'm experimenting with AI. I'm experimenting with virtual studio sets, the type of which you'd see on BBC Sport programs. We're looking at sort of using that sort of technology to really immerse learners into an environment, rather than just be a 2D piece of Saturday morning chat show sort of type thing. So so it's a cool place to work, and we've got everything in house, so I can go and play with all the gadgets.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, final question from me. What have you learned, would you say, about language learning through creating video?
You can't trick the learners, right? I mean, this is when you start faking stuff, they know. So again, I was talking about the sort of scripted drama stuff earlier. They want it real. They want real people, and they would rather have a piece of sort of. I have to be careful what I say here, but the digital natives are so used to capturing content on their phone, they know it's real, and I think our students will define what AI is as well. So there was lots of discussion around, deep fakes and fake news and that sort of stuff. Clearly, as a news organization, we're all over that. We have to be very protective of our authentic storytelling heritage. Make sure that we're fact checking. We do our due diligence and storytelling.
Absolutely.
So we understand the need to be real and keep it real, if you like. So that's what we'll do. We'll keep it real.
Keeping it real.
Keeping
Brilliant.
it real.
Okay. Well, Dan, all the best in keeping it real. It's been lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too, Nikki.
Yeah, and enjoy the rest
Go
of
and
the
jump in the
conference.
sea,
Go,
please.
yeah,
Go
if
jump
you
in
want to. Keep it real, Dan. Thank you.
Ready to revolutionize your ELT courses? Introducing ITN Education's captivating videos, the key to transforming English language learning. With our expertly crafted content, we'll accelerate language acquisition like never before. Whether in class or online, our custom-built videos support your learning objectives. Discover ITN Education at IATEFL and elevate your ELT courses today. ITN Education, where learning comes to life.
So, as you know, sustainability is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And this year's conference doesn't have that many talks with sustainability in the title, but I found one, so let's go and have a look.
There's not many people here, and I've worked with ANCO about sustainability in ELT for about a year now, And it's very interesting. If you put the word sustainability in a talk or webinar, nobody comes. That's absolutely the case this morning. I mean, it might be me. I'm just trying to make myself feel better. We did announce at the AGM, many of you were there yesterday, that IATEFL is setting up a climate and sustainability working group. That will initially be just the trustees. We will then roll it out to the SIGs and then out to the associates. Its purpose will be, this sounds a bit arrogant, if it is, I don't care, to become thought leaders, to become a kind of central point, because we have amazing networks. I don't know how many countries we have members from, I can't remember, but it's quite a lot. To help people to pool ideas, bring ideas together. We're going to bring in stakeholders from publishing, from assessment, private language schools, all the different stakeholders. It's going to take us a while, so bear with us, because we've got a lot of fiddling around to do. But that's the plan.
Elizabeth Baker. Originally, I come from Hungary. I live in Ecuador right now. I'm not teaching classes, but I have a number of mentees whom I'm helping with teacher education and teacher research. In my own context, I think for me, what is most important is the options of online events, so that we can avoid having to take a flight from Ecuador to Europe. I'm visiting my family every year, but I'm trying to get on more and more online events and organizing webinars so that we can avoid the traveling and the transport costs and all the pollution that goes with travel.
Hi, I'm Caroline Moore. I'm from the Hornby Educational Trust, and I suppose perhaps two things that I'm sort of focused on. One is paper and using my digital devices to reduce, and so I don't use lots of paper. And the second is around water and drinks. And I use a flask where I put in drinks, and particularly if I've been for a run in my free time.
Now, Chris might have a point in saying that the word sustainability does scare people off and there's not that many sessions, but I'm so happy that there's so many people who do have plans and that IATEFL is doing so much for sustainability and to keep this on the agenda.
And we are back. I am not avoiding to be on studio today, but you know that I absolutely love every year walking around the exhibition hall. So what you see here is all of our wonderful exhibitors. There's so many things going around. The exhibition hall is always like a fun fair. What you see here is people socializing, people just having fun, asking questions, getting to know what's going on in our field. And I think that this is particularly important because we can learn in class, or in our case, in all of the training sessions, but also we can learn outside class, which is, of course, what's happening outside the sessions, which is the exhibition hall, the social program, so just getting to know people. Now, this is the exhibition hall upstairs. We do have one downstairs, but before I show you anything else, I just want to show you something wonderful. Just look at this view. This is absolutely incredible. Just having this view can completely help you relax and maybe forget that you have a live show, maybe. And we can see here, all of our exhibitors try to have different interactive activities for the attendees. And what you can see here is, for example, a pronunciation science poster. We have got all of the latest publications at IATEFL. This is where the exhibitors usually present different elements as well. And this is the place to be if you want to come and ask questions to publishers, exhibitors. This is the place to be indeed. So you can see that now there are not many people in the exhibition hall, and this is why I came around now, because there are a lot of sessions going on and it is quiet. But as you've understood from our live shows, this is usually when people come around, and you can see people walking in the background as well. And of course, we have got our IATEFL stand as well. So this is where you can find our ambassadors, you can find our trustees, you can ask questions, and then we have got here more exhibitors. And this is what's going on. It's always great to come to the exhibition hall because essentially this is where we can just come and learn more about what's going on. And the more exciting thing about the exhibition hall is that it is close to our studio. So I don't know whether I have shown you the studio. So this is one side of it. This is Sean over here who says hello. And we have got a place for our guest over there. We have got the main studio. And then, of course, I should note that we have got over here, look at that studio. I'm sorry, but it is so distracting to do an interview while having this view. How am I supposed to focus now? And I think that Anka is still on the beach. Oh, sorry, in her meeting with Laura. So, thank you very much for joining me for the exhibition hall tour. And I am looking forward to seeing more publicists next year. So if you want to be an exhibitor with IATEFL at the IATEFL conference in Edinburgh next year, just get in touch and let us know.
Hi everyone, this is Maha Hosni. I'm Nile TESOL president. I'm from the beloved Egypt. I've been following IATEFL all through the past years, but now it's my first time to be here. I'm looking forward to exchanging expertise and networking with all the celebrities of the ELT community, and looking forward as well to attend all the trending topics here in IATEFL. Thank you very much and see you later.
Hi, my name is Paola Romero and I come from Quito, Ecuador, and I'm here because I want to update my knowledge and take new ideas to be able to continue teaching at the university I work back in Quito. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Hisham Al-Ariam from Egypt. I came here today to attend IATEFL for the first time in Brighton here, and I'm really looking forward to expand my experience and skills during these beautiful sessions, of course. And I'm going to present on about gamification on 19. That's Friday. Before that, so I'll try to attend every gamification sessions and game-based learning as well, so I can get the most information about that.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm from Germany, and I'm looking forward to presenting my PhD research today, which is on social class representation in English textbooks.
Hello everyone, this is Isa Hamdi Ahmed from Egypt. I'm here at IATEFL 2024 Brighton. I'm here to attend the sessions of the conference, and I'm looking forward to attending later sessions and informative, which could give me more information about how to use AI in teaching English and learning English as a second language.
You will notice at IATEFL is that every year there is something new. This year, we are very happy to introduce to you the IATEFL Lightning Talks. The Lightning Talks is a fantastic new feature for those people who do not want to present a full session or who are presenting for the first time and they want a little bit of a confidence boost. This year, the Lightning Talks was a 3-minute presentation where you introduce your topic to a room full of people and you share your ideas and lessons that you have learned over the past year. So let's go and watch a little snip from one of our past interviewees, Abigail Ekango.
Student-made learning and evaluation material. What gave me this idea was that in my English language teaching classroom routine, I noticed that every time we were trying to do revision with the students, we would always give them sentences, fill the gaps, tick the correct answer. And so the students got bored. And I thought about something different that would help the learners do revision in a more fun way. So the objective of the little project was to help those learners revise all what we've been doing in class in a funny, amazing, jovial atmosphere using creative and different material. The next slide is just images of some of the things that the learners created. So I just wanted, initially I used to do the innovation myself, like I'll draw to express some ideas and show them some links between what my drawings and the English language lesson that I have to deliver represent. So I wanted to give a try this time, giving my learners the opportunity to try to do like me, like represent a grammatical or vocabulary notion using a drawing or whatever they could imagine. And so I was very impressed by the results that these learners could produce as final revisions. And the images show some of the things that the learners did. And the procedure is, it's like a fair. So the learners would do the creations and then they are going to expose them in the classroom. And I would go through and listen to them explain their drawings, connecting them to a particular lesson in class. And then I would also give their classmates the opportunity to visit the other learners and try to discover their various drawings and trying to connect to the ideas and the creation. So that's just a brief project timeline. It's an activity that I do once per term at the end of the term prior to the final examination. The first month we do our lessons and then we do the usual integration with sentences, filling the gaps and so on. Second month, same thing. And then the third month, which is the month that is going to finalize the lesson, the first term lessons, we do a pre-evaluation and then we do a lesson resume fair. So, oh no. Conclusively, the idea is to help the learners revise English in a jovial atmosphere, learning something, trying to learn for fun, revising in fun. And luckily, I brought some of the material in my bag and I'll be behind the table and I'll be very happy to introduce myself there and show you so you get to feel some of the work that the learners did behind. Thank you.
So this was the Lightning Talks, 3-minute presentations for you to boost your confidence in public speaking, but also share your ideas with the world. Join us next year in IATEFL.
And we are back after I have roamed around the whole exhibition.
We're sitting down for this one. Yeah, we're sitting down. So unfortunately, one of our guests hasn't arrived. So we decided that we'd have a chat, wouldn't we, Georgia?
Exactly. Because we've been going out for dinner as well in Brighton.
We have, yeah.
And we've discovered, thanks to Sean, we need to give credit where credit is due. We've discovered some brilliant places and the nightlife in Brighton is incredible.
It is, yes. It's lively. It's
Absolutely.
lively. There's an abundance of restaurants in this town, I have to
Yes.
say, and they're all. I mean, obviously they're elsewhere too, but they're dotted in the lanes. And if you're not familiar with the lanes, they are, as the name suggests, very small little lanes, like a maze that's woven around the city with beautiful restaurants and bars and shops, and it's just really quaint, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nikki, you did the videos on Brighton. While you were researching about Brighton, what was one of the areas that struck you? Like you said, oh, that's incredible. about this city?
I didn't. I think it was that Brighton had the first cinema. Or casino, it might have been actually, which I didn't know, and also that the first commercial flight, I think, left from near Brighton. So yeah, it's actually quite a famous and historic town.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Have you been to Brighton before?
I have. I didn't grow up too far from here, and on school trips we went to the Royal Pavilion, and yeah, we spent quite a lot of time in Brighton. But I have to say, I haven't been here since the last IATEFL conference in 2018.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been nice to come back.
Absolutely. It feels like home when you come back. That was the same for me. When, by the way, we didn't know each other back then
But
in
you were here
2018.
too.
I was here too.
No, we didn't know each other at
Who
all.
would have imagined that, years later we would do live shows here?
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your role in IATEFL at the time?
I was just a delegate.
Uh-huh.
And joined myself with a little bit of ice cream on the beach and running around sessions. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then the following year, it was Liverpool. Then something called COVID happened in between, and we went online.
Yeah, that's true.
So it is good to be back in Brighton.
It's lovely to be back in Brighton, and I mean the venue. It's holding everybody, and it's so lively. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Yes. Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
Right. So I keep all of the conference programs every single year.
Oh wow!
You know why?
No,
because whenever I need inspiration, I just open randomly a page and I look at a session, and what I try to do is try to see if I can find this person's slides, or if I can get in touch with that speaker that I'm interested in, and then contact them and ask them for information on the topic. This is something that inspires me and helps me continue learning.
Mm-hmm.
I might be a conference program hoarder.
Okay.
So I have got...
Is there a group for that?
I don't think so. Okay. To stop coming to IATEFL, but still I will continue having my hands on the programs.
Yeah, that's actually quite a nice idea, and that's very good as well for professional development.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd never thought about doing that. So can you get hold of conference slides anywhere? Is it something that IATEFL puts online, or do the presenters readily give them to you, or what's your experience?
So the word is out.
Okay.
Last year, we did the IATEFL themes in September, and it was a massive success.
Mm-hmm.
So we invited speakers who gave talks in IATEFL in the conference in April. We invite them to our webinars. So it is an online conference where we have got different themes and people can choose from these sessions, and they can attend the themes that were prevalent this year at this year's conference.
Mm-hmm.
So it is incredible, and I would definitely suggest that everybody should join the IATEFL themes this year as well.
And if they're interested, where can they find out about it?
Oh, information will be coming out on our Facebook page. Information will be coming out as well on all of our social media. So you will soon find out when the next IATEFL themes is happening.
Oh, that's exciting. Something to watch out for.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, on our IATEFL.org page, you can find a lot of webinars that have happened in the past. So it is a great source of information as well. And as I said, just keep in touch, become a member. It's a free account anyway, so become a member, and then you will be able to join and build up your professional networking and development.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very excited. I'm about to go and give my poster presentation. If anyone's not too sure what that is, it's when you prepare a poster of your research or whatever it is that you're interested in or that you want to say, and you stand by it, and people come along and ask you questions, and then you can explain your research that way. So my colleague and I decided this is the way that we're going to go for IATEFL this year. We have been working on an article about mentoring in the Czech Republic, which is our context, and we've put the key findings and our methodology into this poster, and we're going to display it, and hopefully people will come and talk to us. But you know what? Rather than just talking about it, why don't we go and have a look?
My presentation today to raise some awareness for teachers and educators in PBLL, which is project-based language learning, in evaluating and assessing our students and learners' performances and outputs and products. Sometimes we teachers have cognitive biases, judgmental biases. We also call them educational biases, and sometimes we are mistaken, to be honest. And here I conducted a kind of survey on 20 teachers from 5 different countries. They're from Iran, Serbia, Greece, Ukraine, and Turkey. So when you go through the QR code, you're going to see all these 5 questions there as well. And also please go through the QR code, especially for the 5th one. Please reflect on yourself as well, see what you're going to do, and hope it raises awareness. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Barisha Chiplam. I'm the second year PhD student from University of Sussex, and this is my work. I'm studying about the perceptions of EMI lecture in Thai classroom. So then I want to know how they think about English and their own language.
Annie, here's the poster telling everybody about the research that we've done. So in future, if anyone wants to do a poster, come, display your work and have a chat and tell everyone what you've been doing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm joined in the studio by Helen Slee. Hello.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. Well, you tell us, Helen, how did you end up sitting here with us this afternoon? Tell us.
Well, it's a funny story. Last week, I tweeted about how excited I was to be coming back to the conference again and giving my session on Friday. And then Sean replied to me and said, Helen, good to have you back. Would you like to come on TV Live and talk to us about your conference experience and your talk? And I said, would I?
And here you are, as if by magic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, it's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you.
So, Helen, tell us, what's your involvement with IATEFL?
Well, my involvement with IATEFL goes back 2 years when I won the TD SIG Michael Berman Scholarship to attend for the first time. And before I received that scholarship, I always looked at IATEFL and thought, I can't afford that. And then when I attended, I had an amazing week in Belfast. And then, of course, attended last year at Harrogate and delivered my first ever talk. And now I'm here delivering my second ever talk. And I'm now on the TD SIG committee, supporting the SIG that supported me to come become part of IATEFL.
This is brilliant. So TD is teacher development.
Yes.
And what's your role on the SIG?
Well, I am in charge of the website, our social media, and I've just recently taken over from the wonderful Christian, who's stepping down from the committee, taken over our podcast, DevelopPod, which is all about teacher development.
Okay.
Which is a really interesting and new challenge for me that I'm enjoying a lot.
This is fantastic. Yeah. So if anyone wanted some teacher development through a podcast, where could they find your things?
Well, they can find DevelopPod on all of the usual podcast places.
Okay.
On our website as well, tdsig.org, we have a DevelopPod page, but you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the streaming services. We're there.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And does TD-SIG have anything in the pipeline? Do you know of any events that are happening soon?
Yeah, so we are currently in the process of preparing our TDAJ, our academic journal, Teacher Development Academic Journal. We've just accepted 22 submissions, which is amazing.
Wow.
Way more than we would normally expect. And so we're deciding about what to do with all of those wonderful submissions we've received.
Okay.
And that will be out later this year. And our publications team are on that. And also, of course, we will have our web carnival later in the year, and we've just started to plan that. And then we have a lot of ongoing events, like we have TD Lives, which go out, and of course the podcast that I've already mentioned.
And if anyone hasn't seen a web carnival before, could you tell us a little bit about it? Do you know much?
Yeah, so I've actually spoken at TD-SIG's Web Carnival years and years ago, back in 2021, and also attended them, of course. It's like an online conference held on Zoom, and we take submissions from speakers who'd like to speak about our theme. Our theme for this year is Teacher Change, which can be interpreted a lot of ways. And so later on in the year, we'll take submissions from teachers who'd like to present a talk or workshop at our online web carnival.
Fantastic. So there's loads of things to keep your eye out for,
Yeah,
isn't there? That's
absolutely.
brilliant. Okay. And how's your conference experience been so far here in Brighton?
Well, it's been fantastic. We've mostly had good weather, but all the talks I've been to have been really thought-provoking and interesting, some challenging in a good way, making us think. All of the plenaries have been really great. And it's also been, of course, wonderful to catch up with old friends and make new connections and network and say, oh, I talked to you on social media. It's nice to meet you face to face.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Because there are so many people that you know just online, and suddenly you see them in 3D at the conference for the first time. It's lovely.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing you in 2D.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, tomorrow you are giving your talk, which is about professional development.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away, could you tell us a little bit about the talk?
Absolutely. So my talk is based on a paper which I published in the TD-SIG, TDAJ academic journal last year. And I've developed that paper into a workshop, having a discussion with teachers about what their ideal CPD would look like, moving towards a principled, eclectic CPD program. So both top down with expectations from the organization or the school or the institution, but also bottom up development, which emerges from the teacher and their goals and their learning paths.
Okay.
And how we negotiate between those two.
This is super important, the idea of professional development. This is how we push ourselves and continue to be the best. So where did the idea for the paper and the talk come from?
Great. So actually, it's from another type of professional development. I'm currently working on completing my DIP TESOL with Trinity College. And of course, part of the DIP is to do a written exam. And part of that is papers, which you have to write. And you don't know the prompt until you sit down the exam. And so I was doing lots of writing practice tasks. And one of them was on the difference between development and training. And I thought, oh, that's such a common query, and we're always arguing about what's the difference between those two. And it got me thinking about other things which bring us together and divide us in professional development, like top down versus bottom up, webinars and workshops versus shorter activities, and everyone has a lot of opinions about professional development, but I wanted to bring all of those ideas together and say, how can we all work together to create the kind of professional development program that would benefit as much as possible everyone via collaboration and compromise.
Okay. And what's been your personal experience so far? Have you worked in places where they've encouraged CPD, or are you finding that you're having to do this on your own?
Well, I've actually had a variety of experiences. I have worked in schools which didn't provide any development at all, just put me in the classroom and go. And I did a lot of self-directed CPD at those times. But then I've also worked at schools where some CPD was provided, although sometimes this was quite prevalent at the start of the term, but by the end of the term or by the end of the year, these had sort of petered out. And then also I worked at the British Council, where CPD was strongly encouraged and a big part of our collaboration and our work as a staff and as a team at the school. So I really have had and recently I've been working freelance as well, where it's gone completely self-directed again. So I've really had, I think, all experiences with
everything.
CPD. Yeah.
Okay. And so where do you turn if there's anyone kind of there that's perhaps not able to attend the talk and is thinking, oh, I feel pretty alone. What can I do in order to develop? You've mentioned TD SIG and having a look at these special interest groups and the events that they put on.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else do you do? What would you recommend?
Well, I think it also, I personally, I know what I like and how I like to develop, but it depends very much on the individual.
Yeah.
Some people, for example, like to listen to podcasts or watch videos while they're doing something else, and that's how they like to input. Others like to sit down and do focused academic reading or studies. Some prefer to take a course and have, over a period of time, a set curriculum which they follow. So it really depends on which CPD works right for you and your learning style and your needs and your goals. I think the thing that's hard about it right now is that there's so much of it
Saturated.
online. Yeah, and so it can be hard sometimes to curate, I think. A good thing would be to reach out to others who have similar goals to you and see what they're doing. There's lots of free materials online, places like Coursera or Future Learn. The British Council has a lot of courses on Future Learn. And I think if you know what you're looking for and what your goals are and what you like, you might be able to find the right format for yourself, but also talking to other people and getting recommendations, especially when it comes to courses. If you want to commit to a course, you'll want to speak to other people who've done it and get their recommendations and their thoughts.
Okay, that's really good advice. I like that a lot. Do you have a personal favorite way of developing?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really hard because in some moments I want to do something short and quick, like watch a video or attend a talk or do a webinar. But of course, working on the DIP TESOL, that is long term, and that's an ongoing process. So it depends on which goals I'm working towards. Is it a short-term goal where, okay, I want to learn more about dogme, so I want to read Teaching Unplugged, or is it I want to achieve this qualification so I can take the next step in my career? So tonight I'm going to set aside 4 hours to work on the DIP TESOL. So it depends a bit on the day and what my goals are and what I'm working on. The thing I guess I would say to teachers is to take it step by step. Don't try to do everything all at once. If it's a day for a short video or listening to a podcast, then that's okay. Just do that. Or if it's a day for taking a break and doing some CPD tomorrow, that's also good because well-being is important too.
100%. Okay. And so after your session, well, is your session the last session of the conference?
It isn't. No, there will be one more after me and then the plenary. I'm at 11:05 tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're around, please do come along and get some very useful tips and food for thought about professional development, whose responsibility it is and how to go about getting it.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you're going to do before the end of the conference, seeing as we haven't got much time, but a tiny bit?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm looking forward to a couple of the talks tomorrow. For example, Rose's plenary, I'm very excited for. I really enjoyed the talk she gave last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing this on a bigger scale where she's done more work and more research on it. And also looking forward to running into people, as we always do. And I suppose looking forward to the sunshine we'll have tomorrow here in Brighton.
Oh, yay. There's going to be sunshine.
Yeah, that's what the forecast says.
Fantastic.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, I choose to believe it. This is brilliant. Okay, lovely. Helen, thank you so much for coming and chatting to us today. And I wish you the very best of luck with your session tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget, if you would like to see today's plenary, it will be online after 8 p.m. And we have a shorter show tomorrow and we'll be starting at 11. So please do tune in and join us then. So that's it from us. All the best. Bye-bye.